friends, family, people that I know, people who I don't know, who all make the same comment that I'm so sick of hearing. I am so sorry. Say that. You can't say that on the internet. Say that.
It just sounds so dorky.
All right, what do you want to pull up?
We'll do that segment a little later.
Okay.
Is there anything that you want to catch up on, Dan?
Yeah, there's a few things.
We haven't talked in a while.
I know. You know
Wait,
why?
first, are we doing a cold open?
I will brain you.
Listen, at this point, it's just an inside joke.
Yeah, it is.
Nobody understands the joke.
Welcome to the cold open.
Why I get tickled by it all the time.
All right, so I want to talk about a couple things.
Okay.
So first things first, I bought something recently. And it costs a lot of money.
Can you share it on the podcast?
I can. I bought something recently and it costs a lot of money.
Did you bring it?
I did.
Oh, it's a show and tell.
Yep. And I bought something recently. I did bring it with me. It's a lot of money. These boots were almost $300.
They're Red Wings.
Yes. I'm
surprised you're able to fit your feet in them. You complain about every shoe.
That's why I went to Red Wing. And I went there. I walked in. We walked in. It was like, what, 5 minutes? 5 minutes. And I walked in and said, I have really wide feet and they're really tall. He's like, oh, you're talking about this? He's like, I have the same issue. He's like, here, I'll be right back. Came out. He's like, here, try this on. He put the shoe on my foot. I'm like, yep, I'll take them. He's like, all right. And then 5 minutes, 5 minutes total, I was out.
So you had your glass slipper moment with the Red Wing worker?
My dad has told me for years to buy Red Wings because he has.
Are they steel or no?
I think these are steel. Look how wide they are.
I know.
Look how wide. Oh, I love it.
What size shoe do you wear, Dad?
10.
That's a size 10?
It's an 8.5.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Let me see show me the tongue.
9. Sorry. No, so
listen,
it depends on the
this man's
shoemaker.
overcompensating.
No, it depends on the shoemaker.
I will give you there because I wear a size 12.
Yeah.
Sometimes 12 and a half, depending on the shoe. But my boots that I wear all the time that they've seen on podcasts are a size 9.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Yep.
So what shoes do you buy that are size 12?
All my gym shoes, all my dress
what brand?
shoes. Any of them. Puma, Adidas, Nike, Vans,
my
Converse.
That's the problem is my feet can't fit in those shoes at all. Because I forget what he called it, but it's the top of the foot. Because my feet, like, up and down are so thick and then wide. They're just extraordinarily wide. So I can't wear any of those brands. I used to buy Vans all the time and I just, like, would break them. Because
you
you
cut the sides of them.
No, my toes would just do that naturally.
Because you bought Vans for my wedding.
No, those weren't Vans.
I'm pretty sure they were Vans.
Oh, you know what? You're right. Those were Vans.
Like tan Vans.
Yep.
And you were already busting out of them at the wedding.
Mm-hmm. And it hurt.
And you complained the whole time.
Yeah, it hurt. It hurts to wear most shoes. It does not hurt to wear these boots. In fact, I have been so against wearing boots. I have a pair of boots that I've owned for years. About 5 years, 6 years maybe. Because I had them before PJ. And while I was still married is when I bought them. So it's been about 6 years. So we got them and they were okay, but I needed them for work. And they hurt my feet just so bad. Like they were expensive boots, but they hurt. And so one time I wore them for paintball and they became caked in mud. I've never cleaned them. They're just sitting in my closet.
So I have another question. Erica was freaking out a little bit when you said you bought something very expensive. Yeah. And that you brought it with you. I'm very confused. Is there another story behind this?
There is another story behind that
you can't talk about?
Well, we're getting married.
What?
You and I.
I was about to say.
We're getting married, Tyler.
What else did you buy? What are you hiding?
All right, so I bought a ring.
Oh, Lord.
The same day I bought these boots. Or technically the next morning, I ordered it. Yeah, we're getting married.
When's the date?
Undecided. It's going to be an elopement. We both have been married before. We don't plan on doing a big fancy schmancy wedding.
Darn. I'm waiting for my day where I get to pull out a nice best man speech, and I haven't been able to do it.
I was going to have you marry us, but okay.
I can't anyway.
Why not?
I'm not ordained.
What are you
just do
then?
the paperwork online real quick?
That I would get in trouble for.
Why?
Because the organization that we are part of does not allow that.
So you have to become ordained for marrying somebody?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
What are you now?
I'm just certified.
Oh my gosh.
I'm certifiably stupid. I was kidding.
Figure it out. All right. Anyways, well, that's fine. My brother will marry us. And we're
Does
going to...
everybody know this, or are you just airing this out on the podcast? Everybody's going to find out beforehand. Like,
Your parents will know before.
my parents already know.
but your mom watches this.
Your parents already know?
All right. I told you I already talked to my dad about it.
Your dad?
Yeah. And he was going to talk to my mom about it.
But your mom would have called you.
I assume she would have, but I don't know. She didn't.
It would have been a lot more interesting if you brought it here. You probably don't have it yet.
Not yet. Get it
It would
soon.
have been more interesting if you brought it here and then you got on the whole knee and you did the whole thing here. And then I would tell her to move her scoot and then we get back to the podcast. Like, that would have been way more interesting.
It would have. I don't think I want to propose on the podcast, though.
Just grab a bagel. Just do a fake one. Like, it just funny.
Bagel?
Yeah, just do a bagel. Then you can eat it afterward. We could toast it in our toaster.
That would be good.
Yeah, this has been sitting here since day one, and we've never talked about this toaster. I
Yeah.
don't think ever.
Well, do you want to talk about it?
I mean, I don't have a story behind it because you found it.
Yeah. So
We scoured Facebook Marketplace.
we did. Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, a lot of different places. We went a searching. Erica and I went to a antique mall after going to like 3 or 4 other places. And we went to an antique mall and found that $25. They only had like 3 total toasters though.
Still got to put our logo on it.
I know.
Right there. Slap it right there on
Yep.
the front.
On a technically antique, but who gives a crap? I really wanted it to be beat up, and I didn't want it to be chrome. I wanted it to be
Like white enamel.
no, not white, but just like a steel color,
Oh.
just like brushed steel.
Oh, we can spray paint this thing.
No, that
But it's
seems
an antique now.
that seems stupid. To spray
I
paint
honestly
it.
want to try it. We gotta on another episode. We need to plug this thing in and try to make bread with it.
We do. That'll be a challenge
And see what
Oh, there we
happens.
go. The next challenge: we'll put our hands in the toaster and plug
So you
it
can
in.
hold it longer.
Yep. First,
If it doesn't explode first.
who can put more metal silverware into the toaster?
Also, all the settings over here are worn off. Where I can't tell what's like bagel setting. Like if that's even.
do you
a setting.
think? I don't think.
Was that a setting back in the day? Bagel setting.
I don't think they had bagel settings back in the day. They weren't building toasters for Jewish people.
Please don't get us canceled like Kanye.
There's nothing racist about saying the past they didn't like Jewish people. That's just facts.
Okay.
All right.
That's why Germans made the Volkswagen Beetle.
Wow. I mean, true, but yeah.
All right. Well,
Volkswagen.
Volkswagen.
Yeah. So does anybody oppose to our pre-engagement?
I don't really care.
How should I propose?
How should you propose?
Give me some tips.
I've done it once. You've done it once. Why do I have to give you tips?
Well, I want some. What do you think are some good ideas?
At this stage, you've done it more than I have, or will have.
I will have done it more than you have. This will be my 5th proposal. Second person to say yes.
Are you serious? I haven't known you that long.
No.
I've known you only for a decade, so I mean,
That's
not
true.
even. It's been 9 years, but
Well, anyways, no, it's been longer than 9.
9 years. I've only been here 9 years. 9 years.
I don't believe you. But anyways,
I'm serious. I've only been here for 9 years. It'll be a decade this Christmas, I think.
oh,
Maybe
all right.
next Christmas.
I think it's
don't
this
remember.
Christmas. Because I remember your parents talking about,
It is next
I'm
Christmas?
pretty sure it's next Christmas because you moved up here your junior year, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so it would be next Christmas.
all right, well, anyways.
Yeah, can you believe I graduated? You graduated a long time ago. I
Technically.
graduated in 2015.
Wow.
That is so long.
I graduated 2010, 29?
Some people were like, that's not very long.
29. Yeah.
I bet you some people are like, that's not very long, but it is. That's a long time. Like,
Yeah.
I've been out of high school, and I never went to college, but I've been out of high school since 2015. I didn't think I'd make it. I had a really bad GPA. To be fair, the school I went to is now shut down for passing people that didn't deserve it. So,
Well, I mean,
sorry, I
listen,
didn't want to miss out on that.
we've been really late. None of us held it out. But okay. Anyways, do we want to try that again? To be fair. All right. Anyways, good job, guys.
Rachel didn't join.
I know.
She said, screw y'all.
She's a poopy pants.
Oh, you did? I don't.
I was
Why
just
we need
looking at Tyler.
headphones?
It shows how much I matter to this.
I was
podcast.
just looking at Tyler.
Listen, we wanted to kick you off, but you somehow stuck
Oh
like
my
glue.
gosh.
So.
I can take the car and leave.
No, because you'll break my mirror.
I'll break it.
Can we talk about? Okay,
Okay. Yeah. Talk about that.
so my wife gets home from work today,
Yeah.
and she walks in and she looks at me and she has this stupid grin on her face. She always gives me the stupid grin when she's got something bad happened.
Can
I
you
am
imitate the grin?
pissed.
Imitate the grin.
So our cars.
No, imitate the grin.
No, there's no teeth showing. Oh, there might
So
be slight
she does
teeth.
that when she has done something wrong.
Yeah, every time. It's her tell.
Okay.
This is-
Interesting.
You want to know what she says to me?
What?
I need to get my eyes checked.
You or her?
Her. She
Okay.
said, I need to get my eyes checked.
All right.
I immediately rolled my eyes and my face went in my hands. Let me paint this picture for you. My wife got in 2 car accidents within 2 weeks.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a lot.
3 months.
Was it 3 months?
Yes.
That's
Whatever.
still a lot.
That's still a lot.
It's not
So-
as
Neither
nearly
were
as
my
bad.
fault.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the first one,
Every woman says that.
it was the first one was a Sunday evening. We were heading home, and some chick was on her phone. Some
Okay.
dude blows through a yield. We're trying to get on the highway. Some dude blows on the yield, so we slam on our brakes. The car that cut us off slammed on his brakes. Some girl was on her phone. Some teenager just slammed into the back of us. Okay?
Nice.
This
Okay.
story gets a lot worse once you realize that we don't own these cars. The second time, some lady was stopped at a stop sign. Rachel was driving. It was in a Walmart parking lot. She was driving. For some reason, the lady just decided to start pulling out. Saw Rachel. I don't know if she had a lapse in judgment. She slammed, T-boned Rachel, dented the whole back passenger door.
Wow.
the whole back quarter panel, the tire well, like
Yeah, the whole
everything. It
thing.
was
She
like
couldn't-
$5,000 worth of damage.
She couldn't
Jeez.
drive the car. I told her, no, we're going to have to get this thing towed out of our driveway. Like, I was surprised she drove it home.
Yeah.
Luckily enough, that damage is fixed. The damage from when she got rear-ended, still not fixed. Okay, we lease these cars.
Yeah.
Today, she smokes a trash can on the side of the road, shatters her passenger mirror, breaks the back cover off. It's missing. It's not on her car anymore. And then she has the audacity to say, but I already ordered a replacement mirror on Amazon.
That's not. No, that's not.
And her
but you don't order.
and her
on
excuse, a car was coming over on her. Which fine, valid. I know what road she was on. It's not
Is it
that
narrow?
narrow.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not that narrow.
The part of the road I was on was very narrow.
Okay. Either way.
And the trash can was over the white line into my
Either
lane anyway.
way. This car is a lease. I told her, I said, you are very lucky we plan on buying this car. Because I don't even know what to do with it anymore. So yeah, that's what I had to deal with. So when we were on our way here, we had to bring my car.
Yeah.
Because she can't use her mirror, especially at night. So I go and take a look. This thing is, I don't even, it's a mess.
So
It's a mess.
technically, legally, all you need is 2 mirrors.
Actually, legally, you don't need a mirror.
No, you do. You have to
in
have
the-
2.
Maybe in the state of Ohio, but most people are taking, like Tesla's made all their side mirrors to where they can come off super easy.
Okay, interesting. But yeah, no, in the state of Ohio, you need 2. You need to have at least.
No, I know
2.
that. She still didn't want to drive her car.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, well, so I have a similar issue with Erica's driving.
Oh my Lord.
When she drives, she swerves in her own lane. She doesn't swerve over the lines that often. But she does 100% go from, if this is the lane, right? Now, when you and I drive, I imagine that you and I drive similar. I haven't really ridden with you. But if there's, let's say, a total of 4 feet available of extra space, we have 2 feet on our left, 2 feet on our right. Right?
Are we counting for how much of space the car takes up? Because if that's
I'm saying
true,
extra.
If we have 4 feet extra
space,
we're in the middle.
2 feet on the left,
Yep.
2 feet on the right.
Yep.
And that allows for the occasional swerve around something, whatever. But no, Erica's like, oh, well, I'm going to go ahead and make it 1 inch on the right. Now I'm going to go ahead and make it 1 inch on the left. Now I'm going to go back to 1 inch on the right. She doesn't stay in the middle of the... That's not an acceptable excuse. 1. 2, say it into the mic!
I drive with my knee.
Okay. Not an acceptable excuse.
So I don't know if this is just a man thing. I've driven with my knee quite a few times.
I can't.
And I still don't swerve. Well, to be fair, I drive a Sentra, and I'm a 6'3" man. So my knees are always up in my chest when I drive.
So that's what's weird is my dad can drive with his knees really, really well, but he's shorter than I am.
I'm pretty sure your dad
He's shorter than I am.
on phone books when he drives.
He does not.
What's it do with his legs?
Okay,
It helps with driving his knees. He probably sits on phone books and he has blocks to put up.
that reminds me of a story I wanted to bring up on the podcast. So I might have told you about it. I've told Erica about it, but it's such a funny story. Thinking about my great grandparents recently, and have I ever told you how they would get around?
As previously stated, we've known each other for 10 years. I've heard a lot of stories, and some of them I still don't understand to this day. So go ahead.
That was a real guttural burp. Anyways, so my great grandfather died 2 weeks before his 100th birthday. My great grandmother, who is younger than him, died, I think it was like 2 weeks before her 103rd birthday. And they both drove up to like 1 year before he died. Now, here's the thing. My grandfather was legally blind.
Oh, you have told me this.
Yeah. And pretty much legally deaf. My grandmother, at her tallest and her prime, was like, I forget what she was. I think 3 foot, like 8 inches.
Oh.
And she was blind in one eye and pretty deaf. But what they would do is she would sit on the phone books, quite literally sitting on phone books in her seat, and she would tell him when to speed up, slow down, when to turn. And it was like they were like 95. My great grandfather was like 95. And we said they had to go get another driver's test to get their license. And they did it.
How were they able to renew their licenses?
The guy gave it back to him because he was so impressed at how well they did that. And
what I'm saying is because when you renew your license, they make you take an eye test.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't know. We were not happy with the guy who gave him their license back. Okay, we yelled at him. I mean, I didn't. I was a kid, but my family yelled at him. Like, why would he's like? It was just so impressive. How could I take their license away? They did amazing. It's like, because they shouldn't be allowed to do it. Like, if I can climb the side of a building really well, doesn't mean I'm okay to do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
you don't have the permits for that? You can't just climb. Some guy didn't just randomly give you your license back and say, "Oh, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Climb that building more, Spider-Man."
Yeah. Like, hey, all right, go ahead, keep going.
It got to a point where my family had to step in for my grandpa was climbing up on roofs until his 90s.
Yep. So was my grandma in her hundreds.
Yeah, and so to the day he died, I think he stopped climbing. He stopped fixing roofs a year before he passed. Mind you, this man's fallen off roofs. Man, I mean, he just kept going. Well, it got to a point where he would start running over curbs and hitting mailboxes with my grandma in the car. That my family had to step in and was like, "Yeah, you're done. You can't." And on top of it, he also was not allowed. He didn't have a license. Well, he did, but he wasn't allowed to drive his car anymore.
Yeah.
He was also not allowed to drive his lawnmower anymore.
What?
There was a ditch at the front of their house.
That's
the amount
awesome.
of times that this man has ended up in the ditch sideways, and my grandma can't pick him up. He can't pick himself up because he's frail and old, and it's just a nightmare.
That's awesome. Yeah, my great grandma. So after my great grandpa died, my one family member went over to go just like spend the day with her. And he pulls into the driveway, looks up, and she's on the roof at 101 cleaning the outside of the windows. And he's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Somebody had to do it. You weren't going to come out here and clean the windows." I mean, she was the feistiest little midget you've ever seen.
Is this your mom's?
No,
parents
this
or your
is
dad's?
my dad's grandma. Yeah.
It's the Italians.
Oh yeah, the Italians.
Bunch of-
Me just swerving in my own lane. I'm in my own
Good job,
lane.
Rachel. I'm
Good
proud
job,
of you.
Rachel.
I moved closer. Thank you, Rachel. I'm in my own lane.
Okay.
What's your
It
question?
makes you look drunk, and people fear for their lives when you start swerving
Yeah.
towards them.
Yeah. When I see somebody swerving in their own lane
Drunk.
from edge to edge, doesn't
How do we
matter.
know that?
Yeah, the other drivers don't know.
You know what I see when I'm driving? Say I'm driving north and you're driving south. You know what happens when I start to see you swerve towards me? I start to swerve towards the shoulder because I don't want to be hit from you, even though you don't come into my lane.
Right.
And just because you're not coming into my lane doesn't mean another part of your car is not coming into my lane. Meaning your mirror, maybe your arm sticking out the window, waving high at me. I don't know.
Or Ross's head.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be one way for him to go is a decapitation in the car. But
Oh my gosh. Could you imagine? There's a basketball hoop in somebody's driveway.
I mean,
That's a hereditary.
I was going to say that.
Goal! Wait, no. Bat, shoot, whatever they say in basketball. Yay, score.
Goal score! I mean,
Field goal.
that's what happened in Hereditary. Have you ever seen Hereditary?
No.
Never?
I don't even know what that is.
Okay. You like scary movies, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You probably, I would say you probably shouldn't watch it.
It's disturbing.
It's very disturbing. It's very demonic.
Are you saying that I have a problem with very scary things?
No.
Watch that scene with him real quick.
We can do it, but I just can't play it on the podcast.
I've seen the whole Conjuring universe.
Oh, Conjuring. I love the Conjuring
Those are
movies.
real.
Yep.
I used to own all
They're
of them.
based off of
I got
real
rid of them
events.
because they got boring after a while.
So you and I, AJ, he refuses to watch those movies because they're based on real stories.
I refuse to watch them now too, but I think The Nun is what did it in for me.
Did we watch The Nun? Yeah. Did we?
Oh, no, I don't think
No, we never watched The Nun. So that one, that's on our list to watch.
when I watched The Nun,
Well, okay, go ahead.
when I watched The Nun, that's what did it in for me. It's like, yeah, I'm done with these.
Did you dislike The Nun?
Huh?
Did you dislike it?
It was a bad film, but it was also too.
It was a bad film,
So
or
here's
was
the
not?
thing. I didn't like it.
Okay.
My whole thing is that kind of stuff doesn't typically bother me because I know how do I put this? I know the difference, and
Right.
I can protect myself if anything were to happen,
So
which most people aren't able to. Most people kind of open that door and they're not able to like close it or
Right.
guard themselves before they open the door. But their later Conjuring universe movies kind of touched on some things that I've seen happen within that, like I've seen happen personally,
right.
like that. And it just got to a point to me, I was like, they're kind of stepping on things that I don't really want to touch. But I
So-
still watch scary movies. It's not,
Here's the thing with
I don't know how to explain that and make sense for
no,
people. But
I get it. So the thing with the Annabelle movies and the Nun, those weren't based off anything Warrens had ever written about or anything like that.
Annabelle was.
No, Annabelle is real, but there was no actual story behind it. They weren't sure where it came from. So like that entire story they created for Annabelle.
Well, right, because they were already
Was
dead
just-
by this.
Right. Well, but even they didn't know because the people who did end up where they got it from, they just said they got it from like a store or her mom bought Annabelle for her.
Yeah.
But there was no story behind where she came from.
Well, and Conjuring 1 and 2, Lorraine Warren helped direct it or write it.
Yeah, that's right.
And
they
then
were
she
alive
passed
during
away.
that time, and they passed
Yeah.
away.
Right.
She's in
So like
both
for
of them.
me,
Yeah.
I'm perfectly like those kind of I don't get scared easily, and those kind of things don't scare me. I watched Ghost Adventures all the time,
I love that show.
even though those guys are really far fetched.
It's a good show, though.
But the Conjuring movies, I enjoyed them
Yeah.
because I knew that they were real, and it was kind of cool to see how their story was told through all that. The Nun was super far fetched. It was really dumb, and it really touched on things that I'm like, I don't really want to continue indulging in this. And then two, La Llorona or whatever, the one that
I don't know what you're talking
it was.
about.
It was also about the nun, but it was the Spanish. It was that. I think it's the backstory of the nun, like where the nun came from or whatever. I can't necessarily remember. I watched it one time and I was like, "This is really stupid."
We'll have to watch those sometimes, baby.
Yeah, but the Conjuring universe, like I said, I don't get scared by those things. I just stopped watching them just because. I guess as I matured and as I got older, it was just like, yeah, this is kind of dumb.
This gave me nightmares,
yeah. So
for sure.
Oh, I will say real quick. This was I keep trying to say this, but I keep getting sidetracked. We watched Insidious, which
love
is based.
those.
It's
Yeah.
totally fiction. It's
Right.
nothing. It's nothing based on. But I think of all like the Conjuring universe didn't really give Rachel any nightmares, but the Insidious movie that really messed with Rachel. And I was like, yeah, we're not gonna watch this again because she had a weird instance that we'll talk about later. But
okay. Have you ever watched Sinister?
Oh, that was my next thing.
I heard of it. It looks stupid to me. So
They're not they're
disturbing.
very good. So before you play this, so let me give you a little bit of backstory. So wee woo. If you're a horror fan, horrorphile out there like we are, and you haven't seen Hereditary, you're gonna want to go ahead and skip forward.
why'd you do police sirens?
Wee woo. Spoiler alert.
4 years old.
Wee woo.
It doesn't matter how old it is.
You sound like a child who just saw a police
Or
car drive
Patrick.
by with his alarms going on. Yeah, Patrick.
Wee woo. Anyways, so spoiler warning because you haven't seen it, and if you hush. Golly. I said wee woo about 1 minute ago, and we have said it nonstop since.
You remember how she got offended? Do you remember how I upset her the very first episode?
Yeah, I
because I
do.
said we gotta get her a chair for right here. She got really upset,
Not literally, just only a little
just a
bit.
little bit.
Just a
She-
little bit
She got
literally
real
upset.
quiet the next couple podcasts.
That's true.
after that.
Tired.
That's true. Anyways, so
I'm just glad I didn't do it this time.
do you want the spoilers?
I'll never watch this movie, so I don't care.
You'll never watch this movie. Okay.
I don't think
so.
so.
Then, spoiler. Well, I don't suggest it to them. So, spoiler warning for anybody else out there. So, movie, first off, is very interesting because a lot of the shots, they'll do like shots of the house, but it's actually a miniature model, which makes it feel very disturbing with how they did it. And the reason that it's a miniature model, even though they don't expressly tell you that that's what the shots are, because they spend a long time just panning into the house just randomly. And the reason it is because this family moved into this house because the grandma died. She built miniature models of stuff for something. And she had died and passed away. And pretty early on, like they turn off the light and you can see like the ghost of the grandma there. And it's not your typical ghost. It's just a very disturbing old lady standing naked in a room, just barely visible. Like half the people won't even see it. So that already sets you off with that tone.
This is the second episode where we've talked about old naked ladies.
Well, get ready because that'll happen a lot more. So
Whoa.
listen,
It
that's
goes
a great
from kissing
topic.
your mama because she's a good kisser to
Because I'm a good kisser.
naked ladies.
So, anyways, just set this. It's one of those movies where nobody quite acts like a human. Everybody just acts a little bit weird and insane, like they're living in an alternate universe.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Continue.
So, anyways, so the family moves in. The husband and wife are already struggling. They have a daughter who is some type of syndrome. I don't know what she is. She's not Down syndrome, but she's not autistic. I don't know what she's supposed to be. And she's slow, and she does this clicking sound.
Oh, great. Now we've gotten into The Last of Us. She's a zombie.
No, but
Mushroom zombie.
so, well, they have a teenage son, yes. I guess at one point in time, the mom like woke up from a sleep, and she was covering them in gasoline, getting ready to burn them.
Okay.
And
So
they've been recovering from like incidences like that.
Is this at all? Is this a true story at all, or is this all?
No. It's not a true story.
It's based off a real demon.
Yes, it's based off a real demon. So
Interesting.
the grandmother was the leader of a cult, of a satanic cult that worshipped this demon who wanted to bring the demon back to Earth to be a king on Earth.
Jeez.
And so a lot of the people in the town, you find out, are part of it. Everybody's just weird, naked. But we're gonna go ahead and play this scene. We're not gonna play this on the podcast.
Are we able to? Since
Yeah, I know what it is. Yeah, we can't play. Oh, if you have viewed this movie before, it is the car scene.
so, can we do the elevator music and turn that light off, so I could see the screen? Because right now I can't.
No,
see
I want people to see your actual live
That's
reaction.
fine. That's fine. Barely. There's just a pole in the center of it. Go ahead. No, we're good. Play the video. No, play the video.
Play the video. Oh, they were at a party and she had eaten a peanut. She is allergic to peanuts, so she's having an allergic reaction. Her throat's swelling up.
This is how every horror movie starts.
Oh, this is like
Headlights and clouds.
30 minutes
or
in.
fog. Well, I know. I'm just saying this is how every end. This
Yeah.
is how somebody dies. Where the heck were they? At a house in the middle of the desert?
yeah.
First off, that car is getting up to speed real slow.
Yeah, it is. I think it's a Prius.
Oh! I like how Erica's. Oh, he knew he screwed up.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's one of the Naked Brother boys.
Yep. Oh, it doesn't. Okay, well, I really wish it would have turned off this ad. I wish it would have continued on from that point.
He just keeps driving.
Yeah, he just slowly drives home.
Goes to bed. And then
Yep.
the next day, the mom goes out to the car and sees her decapitated daughter's body in the car and starts freaking out.
And then the next scene is her smashed in face, head on the side of the road getting chewed on by maggots and stuff.
Well, at least you didn't have to worry about the peanut allergy killing her.
I started
Well-
when I saw that, I had to pause it because my jaw was on the floor. I'd be like, what?
So,
So my whole thing is, those kind of movies don't affect me at all.
I think if you watch that whole movie, it would affect you.
so-
Trust me, because they really dive into. They don't dive into. I shouldn't say that, but when you get into the whole story behind it, and then you experience all the freakiest scenes, because that's probably one of the most disturbing early scenes, but it's not the most disturbing scene. The ceiling, and the very last scene. Yeah.
Have you ever watched Netflix's Haunting of Hill House? And,
Oh yeah. Have we Bly
what
Manor,
was the other
Midnight
one?
Mass?
Haunting of Bly Manor or whatever?
Yeah, it's Bly Manor, Hill House, and Midnight Mass,
Yeah, Midnight Mass. Yeah,
which I called Midnight Mass. Like, I literally called how the entire thing was going to play out.
Haunting of Hill House is my favorite.
yeah, it is really good. Because it's not really... Because when you start to realize that the ghosts aren't really like... They're kind of just everyday people.
Hold on.
It's the camera angles that did it for me.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna do the whole spoiler thing again?
Spoiler alert, because I'm going to get deep into Hill House as well, because I have a lot of feelings about that. Because I loved the experience until the last episode.
When did Midnight Mass come out? Is that the
Last
third?
year.
Is that the third
Yeah.
one? Because they have another one. They have a fourth one out,
Yeah, I think we saw.
but it's
something
like
about that.
it's more of a a bunch of teenagers are together telling scary stories.
Yep.
And actors from the show are there. Rachel and I have not watched Midnight Mass.
Okay.
I didn't know that was one of the haunting of.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was part of the anthology.
I'd be curious. So if you guys do watch it, tell me how quickly you call all the things.
So
But let's talk about Hill House because
Hill House, I will say, of all of those, Hill House kept me on my toes the most. And it was like all the subtleties, like all the hidden
Yes.
ghosts with
exactly.
all the hidden ghosts without the show.
Yep.
Like
Because
so one of my favorites was the guy that was working on the grandfather clock. Yeah. He didn't really exist. He was a ghost.
I
and
called
they
that the second we saw
yeah,
him.
Yeah, I did too. But they saw him, like they spoke to him. And there was a couple other that show how they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Blind Manor was really far fetched, because it was all in your face all at once. It was like
No, it
right
wasn't.
away.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
No, it most certainly was. They did slow reveals. I mean, I called again all of it, but I'm really good at calling that kind of stuff. But they did slow reveals on everything.
But it wasn't as creative as Haunting of Hill House.
No, I'm going to get into why the bent neck lady was not good. She was great until the last episode.
Is this Hill House?
Yeah. So, again, spoiler alerts. Now, Hill House, I agree. All the little behind, like
It was
everything
so
that's hidden
creative.
away
It was
because
so
they
good.
they would hide so much stuff in the background and draw no attention to it.
Yeah, Rachel and I were hooked.
Yeah, and that I was explaining to her like they do that kind of stuff on purpose where they either hide something that's terrifying in the background where you almost would have to rewind it to point it out to somebody like I would have to do constantly. Or they would make something that looks like something, right? And that's a genius way of editing. They didn't do that for Midnight Mass. Very, very little.
I can't remember.
Go ahead. Sorry.
At the end of I haven't watched Haunting of Hill House since like the first week it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Was it at the end of that one where everybody was dead? They were all dead? Like they were all ghosts?
No. That
can't
is
remember how.
that's Bly Manor. Almost all of them were.
Even the
So
the babysitter, right?
The blackball babysitter, she had been dead for
No,
a
not
long
her.
time.
The blonde girl. Yeah, because she got pushed down the well. Yeah, she was dead the whole time.
Yep.
Because the boy killed her. That's right. Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
we
we already said
already
spoilers.
talked about spoilers. So no, so Hill House was fantastic because they really did the slow burn on all of it, but they constantly were showing you scary stuff while giving you a pretty good story. But what did not work was the fact that the issue with Hill House, they tried to make it make sense with Bly Manor. They tried to justify the nonsense of Hill House with Bly Manor. That was like the entire point of this storyline of Bly Manor. And what the issue is she was haunted by the ghost of herself from the future. And so the bent neck lady was her the whole time. Even when
Yeah.
she,
Yep.
And so it was her as an adult when she killed herself, when the house made her kill herself.
Yeah.
And then she went and time traveled and haunted herself throughout time and space, because literally in different cities and everything.
Yeah.
And that is just the stupidest thing in the whole world.
It's her conscience coming out.
No.
To warn her.
No,
of
it's
her
not.
own demise.
That's not at all what it is. She literally time traveled and haunted herself. It was not her conscious warning her.
Pull the mic away from your face.
No,
It
I-
was a
you're right. I
good
should have. My bad.
twist
It was
to
not.
a good story.
A twist cannot. Okay, you cannot say it was a good twist. That would be like, hey, Tyler, the other day I was eating the best pizza I was ever eating. It had pepperoni, it had ham and pineapple, it had the best cheese in the world, the most amazing sauce. Here's the twist: it was a cheeseburger, and it didn't have any of those things. That's not a twist. That's just changing the rules of the story to fit whatever random thing you're
So-
making up.
So,
It's not.
so I can't really speak to it because I honestly don't remember much. I remember snippets, and I honestly, Bly Manor for me was too. When a scary movie gets too, or a show gets too focused on the jump scares, it turns me off real bad.
Bly Manor didn't focus on jump scares.
Every time that girl walked around the house, there was a jump scare. every time she went to the kitchen in the dark, I was like, okay, Rachel, there's going to be a jump scare here. Sure enough, the food conveyor belt rattles, or the refrigerator door shuts by itself, or the boy walks in the background.
But see, I don't think those aren't jump scares. A jump scare
Okay,
is really
well-
in your face, and it's something terrifying.
Maybe. But like Bly Manor, I don't know. I definitely think that those aren't the two same houses, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I just
No, the reason that I say they tried to use Bly Manor to justify is because the babysitter kept time traveling after she was dead. That was like the whole thing.
in Bly Manor.
Yeah, and so they tried to make it make some more sense, but it doesn't. I loved all of. I even enjoyed Midnight Mass. It's the worst of the three. I enjoyed it. It was good. But I love all of them. But they have major plot holes. Like, I mean,
Yeah, Rachel and I enjoyed those a lot.
Mass had religion based to it, which to me, when you add religion to it, makes it scarier.
yes, at times
Makes the
depending.
horror part scarier,
It
Have
depends.
you?
in my opinion.
I agree.
Because it's usually demonic and demons scare the daylights out of me.
That's
but-
because they're real. Have
Right,
you
but those
seen?
don't.
Have you seen The Boy?
Yes,
That's
and
a
the boy
really
too.
good one.
That was a good twist.
That was
too.
that twisted that in.
That got me.
I'm not gonna spoil that one because I need people to watch The Boy. I'm trying to bring more awareness to it because it's really good.
The oldest of all the movies we
Yeah.
have talked about.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, it too came out end of 2019.
I mean, that's fine. But The Boy is so good. And I've never seen The Boy 2. I don't plan on it because
Oh, you should.
is it as good as the first one?
Well,
How do they change the story? Because
okay. You know what? We're gonna do some elevator music but to get ready for the boop boop boodoos. All right, we're back.
are we doing a cold open?
I will smack you.
I'm so sorry. That
so
was- it's
without
just fun.
saying what it was, do you think that the Boy 2 sounds good?
No.
Okay.
I still think the first one. I feel like they try to explain the first one with the second movie instead of the twist just being what it was.
No, I don't think they try to explain the first one. I think they use the first one to throw you off of the second one.
Maybe
That's the whole
it just
thing.
feels like they didn't plan on a second one, and so they had to come up with a story that would make
Right.
sense to justify the first one. Is what I meant.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. Like, I mean, visually, it had a lot more interesting aspects to it.
Okay.
So yeah, Erica reminded me before we clack back in to talk to you guys. It's not a horror movie. Well, let's talk about the two because the one is still pretty popular to talk about. Have you seen Barbarian?
No.
Okay.
The scariest movie I've watched this year was Willy's Wonderland, but
Oh man, Willy's Wonderland is so good.
it's a masterpiece of
dude,
a movie.
I hate people who are like, "Oh, it's so bad."
It's
like-
a masterpiece.
Yeah. I want
I
to.
watched that movie. I was like, you know what? Rachel was already asleep. It was late at night.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just gonna start this movie. I finished the thing.
Yep.
I was so intrigued. I'm like, this movie's amazing. Like, this is gold.
I
Like,
know that, and so I had wanted to watch it because so many people had talked about how bad it was, and I was like, I don't feel like it can be that bad. It's Nicolas Cage, and he's in a Five Nights at Freddy's
Yeah.
scenario.
Yep.
And the reason that people hated it was for one of two reasons. It's one, they expected it to be an actual horror movie, and it's not. It's a campy action, somewhat gore. It's not really super gory.
I would
But-
put it in like a spoof category too.
Yeah, it's a,
Like a spoof
spoofy.
movie. Yeah.
It's a spoof action.
Thriller.
It's not a comedy,
horror.
but it's
not. It's laughable.
yeah, it has hilarious moments. And then you have Nicolas Cage, the most insane, and he trust me, he still acts insane.
It's not It's not meant to be taken serious.
No, it's not.
That's for sure.
Right.
Don't go into this movie thinking, oh, I'm going to, no, it's cheesy as all get out.
Yeah,
The
but-
animation sucks.
I actually enjoyed the animation.
No.
for the most part.
It was good, but it sucks. Like, it's not great.
Right.
It's not a AAA, like, super high budget film. This was done in somebody's basement. Like,
Dude, can we just admire the fact that Nicolas Cage either makes the best
lot of
movies or the
people make-
worst movies?
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure somebody could. I think we could offer him $1 to come here and film for 5 months, and he would just do it.
is that how we get our views up? We start filming a podcast with Nick Cage.
That would
and
be
he's
amazing.
our permanent co-host.
Oh,
it's
that'd
just
be
the three of
amazing.
us. We get Nick Cage like his own throne right in the middle of us.
Oh, don't even tease me. Like, I feel like I'm so curious if anybody's ever reached out to him and been like, "Hey,
Said,
let's."
hey, can we have you on a podcast?
Yeah, like I would be if he said
Our views would skyrocket.
if he reached out to us, which I don't know why he would, but if he did, he reached out to us and said, "Hey, Dan and Tyler, I want to become a permanent co-host on Danger Toast."
How many viewers does your buddy have on Twitch?
Averages 5 to 10.
Oh, darn.
Yeah.
I was
Anyways,
hoping it was more.
Wow,
Somebody knows Nick Cage somewhere.
somebody knows him somewhere. I'm sure I could actually follow some connections back to him. I'm sure just about anybody knows him. But I mean, he lives in Vegas. Let's just there you go.
Could you imagine that man flies here for an episode? I would probably.
He would do it.
I would geek out.
I would love it.
Brendan Fraser would. He'll do it.
Listen,
No,
I would.
Brendan Fraser's living off a whale now.
I would lose. That's still wholesome, dude. Don't cut down Brendan Fraser.
cut down Brendan
I'm not
Fraser.
cutting
It's
him
actually
down
not
in the
Fraser.
slightest.
Actually, it's not Fraser. That's not how you pronounce his name. It's Fraser. It's literally Fraser.
razor.
Like razor.
Like a
Saw the
laser?
interview.
Huh?
Like a frayed laser?
So he did a actor on actor with Adam Sandler,
Okay.
and he had to teach Adam Sandler how to say his name. And Adam's like, "Well, first off, Fraser just sounds better." He's like, "I know, but I just want somebody to get my name right. It's Fraser." So from this point on, I correct everybody I talked to because I was like, "That man I will protect with my life."
He's fantastic.
If Brendan Fraser was sitting in front of me and a bullet was coming, I would sacrifice myself for that man.
I wouldn't.
He is
He's so much older
amazing.
than us. He's
But
great.
he's awesome. I love him.
He
but
is
anyway,
great.
listen, I would probably. You would see a grown man cry on podcasts if Nick Cage came. That would be. Is he
That
going to
would
walk
be-
through the door? Is that our gift?
That's our Christmas gift.
I spent all that money on.
Yeah. But yeah, that wasn't really a wedding ring. He just comes in with a wedding ring. Oh,
Listen, but he doesn't speak the whole time.
I know that's the
He does.
best
No.
part of the
What I'm saying
entire
is, he
movie.
comes on our podcast and
Oh.
he just screams or grunts.
No. If I would love to have him be a co-host on our podcast, or not even a co-host, but like if he did an interview one and he just responded purely without speaking, just like Willy's Wonderland.
Nicolas Cage, I'm speaking directly to you right now.
I actually want him to talk, but
If you ever see this video, even if it's 10 years from now and you're still kicking rocks, please,
you insinuating he's
please, we want you on our podcast
dead? Yes.
and we just want to be your friend.
Yeah.
Like, don't even give us your number.
No.
Have your agent reach out to us if you even have one anymore.
He
like,
does.
we just want to see you. Just come sit on our podcast. You could be here for 5 minutes and we would just talk about how great you are because you're so underestimated.
Underestimated? That's not. The
I
right
know
word.
that's the wrong word. Nick Cage, I'm sorry.
underappreciated?
You're underrated.
Underrated, underappreciated.
Underappreciated. You are an amazing actor, sir.
Um.
I wanted to be you in National Treasure.
Such a good movie.
Yeah,
Listen, that man's amazing.
he is. So we got way off topic.
Ghost Rider.
because
Man, yeah, I know.
Tusk.
Listen.
First off, I love Ghost Rider.
I do too. Listen, I can go on about Nick Cage all day. We could just
Yeah.
we'll just swoop it back. So
So first recommendation: watch Willy's Wonderland. Don't expect it to be a AAA movie. Don't expect it to be Five Nights at Freddy's, and don't expect it to be a serious movie.
and don't expect it to be good.
It is good.
It is, but
But
like
don't expect it to
don't
be
expect
like
it to be It's not Die Hard.
Don't
it's
expect it to
not
be
John Wick, like,
serious.
it's not National Treasure.
Right. Don't expect it to be a serious movie.
We need to get the I don't know if we get in trouble for this. We need to get like energy like your Monster and
Mm-hmm.
my C4 and wrap it in the Power Punch or the Punch energy drink.
That would be amazing.
Like just have
I don't think
stickers
we'd
we
get
have on
any
hand.
Type of trouble. That'd be amazing.
That would be amazing.
But okay, so back to
Sorry.
Tusk and Barbarian. So we watched Tusk and Barbarian recently. Both of them have Justin Long in it, which I want to take a brief moment and appreciate Justin Long's career, because he has always survived off of one of two things, or three if you count the Mac commercials from way back when. So he's either done campy horrors like Jeepers Creepers, thank you.
That movie's amazing.
I love those movies.
Have you seen the newest one?
No, have not. He's either done campy horrors or he's played a super lovable nerd.
Yep.
And the fact is nobody else has those that wide of a spectrum, right? Like to either be a lovable nerd or in a horror movie.
And die in the first
he is
few
fun.
minutes.
No, no,
I
he's the
mean,
main
but-
character.
Huh?
He's the main guy.
He still kicked the bucket.
Sure, but he was still in it for a long time. He was in the majority of the movie.
He's in the second one too. Technically.
Yeah.
A cadaver of him.
Yep. So yeah, the first one I want to talk about is Barbarian, because people have been talking about that for the past few months, and we finally watched it. What?
Can you make it quick?
Yes, we'll make it quick. Because I'm not going to spoil anything. Watch it. It's interesting. I'd say all in all it's good. Kind of. We'll call it kind of nudity. Would you say it's all in all good movie?
Oh my
Okay.
gosh. Listen,
Would
don't get
you
us
say it's
canceled.
all
That's
in all a good
acceptable these
movie?
days.
Okay.
Breastfeeding is acceptable.
Not the way it's in this movie.
Not like it is in the movie.
Listen.
So there's that. The second movie we watched is Tusk. Tusk was apparently made by Kevin Smith.
Really?
Yes. It is.
Like the Kevin Smith.
Yes, the Kevin Smith. Yeah, the Silent Bob, the
Really?
Kevin Smith. We found out at the end of the movie. We didn't know that. And she's already seen it
Can I
before
just say
me.
something real quick about Kevin Smith?
Go for it.
I feel like he's a jerk in real life.
He's not. He's super nice.
No, I know, but he just kind of like looks like the guy that if
He's
you want- if
pretentious.
you approach, right. But he just kind of seems like the guy you'd walk up and be like, remember his TV show about the comic book store?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I was. He just seems like the kind of guy you'd walk up to, and he just feels like he would know everything, so he'd come off kind of a jerk. But
Everything
he's
from,
in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, everything from people I've heard talk about knowing him and interviews I've seen with him and all that kind of stuff. He's very pretentious, but he does not treat you worse for it. So you know how most pretentious people, they're like, oh, I know this so much better than you do, or I know this for a fact, and they treat other people badly because of their pretentiousness. He's pretentious, but will just love anybody.
Kevin, if you would come on our podcast and debate
love
DC with Dan,
Oh, that'd be so much fun.
I will give you my chair for
He'd
the rest
smack
of the
me down,
podcast,
but-
and I would sit behind the camera and just enjoy your presence. Okay, continue.
That would be amazing. But yeah, it's made by Kevin Smith. I'm gonna go ahead and throw spoilers out there. Again, spoiler warning, but Justin Long is a douchebag who has a podcast. His buddy doesn't go out with him to do interviews. It's called the Nazi Party. It's Notsee. So Justin Long's character goes out, interviews people, and then comes back and tells his friend about it. While he does that, he cheats on his girlfriend.
I think I've seen clips of this movie.
So his girlfriend cheats on him with his best friend and co-host. So he goes to Canada to interview this kid who cut off his own leg doing like a Star Wars thing with a katana. And the kid kills himself before he gets there. So he's trying to find something else to make the trip worth it. Find something in the bathroom about, hey, you can stay here, but you have to do some chores and you can hear all my crazy, awesome stories. So he goes, that's this really interesting guy in a wheelchair, very eccentric, and then like this mansion thing, very hidden away in Canada. And the guy then poisons Justin Long. He wakes up and he tells him they got bit by a brown recluse, which I recently have been bitten by a brown recluse. I feel like most people know that getting bit by a brown recluse does not equal your leg getting cut off. But I mean, he puts it together pretty quick. That's the one thing I appreciate is like he's not ignorant for long. He's only ignorant while the drugs are still affecting him. And the whole thing is that this guy apparently at one point had his naval ship destroyed, and he got stranded on an island and became friends with a walrus.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And so they were best friends, and he named him Mr. Tusk, and they had lived on this island together for like months. And then he was at one point starving, so he killed Mr. Tusk to eat him, and then like 1 hour later, a boat shows up. And so this guy had become a serial killer.
All because he killed a walrus.
Also because he had gone from like foster home to foster home, being extraordinarily mistreated in all the ways you can imagine. And so he was already deranged from that, then killed his best friend, Mr. Tusk. So what he does is he's been taking and killing humans, 25 or 6, and then taking their skin and making them into walrus suits. And then with different people, he's been taking them, cutting off their limbs and like doing surgery on them to like make them fit inside the walrus suit, and then permanently making them inside these walrus suits made of human
Ew.
skin.
And cutting out their teeth and their tongue.
Yeah.
They have to eat fish and can't talk.
Yeah, cutting out their tongues. He makes walrus tusks out of their femurs and then surgically puts them in their mouth. So this happens to Justin Long. He does not get saved. This happens to him. And the whole thing is that this guy is trying to make these humans literally into a walrus. He says they're the most noble and the best version of life is a walrus. And so he's trying to make these people into actual walruses. So he like, tortures them and tries to teach them to be walruses so that they can fight him and win. Because he does not feel like he should have killed Mr. Tusk. So he wants Mr.
goodness.
Tusk to kill him. So his girlfriend and his best friend and this cop who is actually Johnny Depp, by the way. It's just Johnny Depp in like crazy face mask who doesn't talk or sound or look like Johnny Depp. It's just him because his daughter's in the movie. So he's also a detective who's a drunk French guy. And so they finally track down where he is. They get there right as he kills the guy, and they're battling. But at that point, because the guy kept saying, to defeat me, you'll have to literally become a walrus. And at that point, his mind had just been so gone from being tortured and all this stuff that he just became a walrus.
Oh my god.
And so it's like a year later, it goes to a year later at the end of the movie, and it's the girlfriend and the other guy from the podcast, and they're at an animal preservation sanctuary, and he's there. Yeah, with the skin suit still on him. Somehow the skin hasn't rotted.
That's weird.
And so, he's still a walrus.
Very disturbing imagery.
Oh, it's very
I'm not going to
disturbing.
go into it, but another super fun thriller movie is Don't Breathe. It's an amazing movie.
Wait, did we
But
watch
we're
that
not-
one?
We're not.
Is that the one with the neighbor and they break in?
No, they're not neighbors.
I feel
We're
like
not
we
neighbors.
watched this, didn't we?
A bunch of kids break into his house to rob him, and he's blind.
Oh, that's
but I'm not
right.
gonna go. I'm not gonna go into the details about that. That's another movie you guys just need to watch.
They made a couple of those.
There's 2 of them.
2 of them? Okay.
Okay, so to veer away from
Horror movies.
the horror movies and stuff like that, because Christmas is coming up and all that other stuff, and we're not talking about Christmas movies. That should be.
Well, we
but anyway.
should talk about the one Christmas movie that we should all go see together this year. I think it's out now. With Hopper.
Oh yeah.
What is it called?
Vigilante?
Well, he's
Santa
Santa.
Claus saves a child.
Yeah, it's Die Hard, but he's Santa against terrorists.
Yeah.
What is it called? Violent Night.
Violent Night.
Violent
Yeah, that
Night.
movie's
We
fun
need
looking.
to go see Violent Night together.
Love that.
But there's something I want to do.
Okay.
So it's coming up on the end of 2022,
Yes.
and you and I both use Spotify.
Correct.
And I am interested. Have you done your Spotify Wrapped yet?
No. You want me to do it now?
Yeah, do your Spotify Wrapped. I'm going to give you my results.
Hold on. Let's do some elevator music real quick while we do this. All right.
You want me to go first, or you want to go?
You go ahead
Because I
and
know
go
you've
first.
listened to more music than I have this
I
year.
listen to a lot of music.
All right. So I ventured into the genreverse this year. 2022 rep. I explored 13 different genres.
Okay.
And then Spotify said, look at you, little astronaut. So my top 5 this year, which I'm kind of surprised by these. I didn't think these would be my top 5.
Okay.
But they ended up this way. So I think this is a little dated. Like I don't think this is accurate numbers. So my number 1 was CCM,
Which is
contemporary Christian music.
okay.
But to be fair, I use that music when I'm at the church, so I don't know how that works. Number 2 is pop, which
Okay.
I'm also surprised by. But I think there's a reason. I think there's a category. I think there's a group I listen to that's considered pop when I don't consider them pop.
Who?
We'll get there.
Okay.
3 is country. 4 is Christian hip hop.
Justification. Okay.
Christian hip hop, which is NF.
Andy Mineo. That
Yeah, Andy Mineo,
Lecrae.
yep. And then 5 is gospel. Those are my
Interesting.
top 5 genres, which I don't understand those, but that's how that ended up. So my morning started with Patient, Heartache, Sad Boy. That was my morning. That's what my morning started with. So the music I listened to must have been sad boy music.
Okay.
And Patient Heartache, so breakup songs, I
Love
guess.
that.
I seized the day with courageous, joyful, inspirational music.
Okay.
And then I ended my day with Lit Angst Mayhem. So I must got hype at night.
Apparently, goodness gracious.
All
And
that
angsty.
So all that listening added up to. So for my total playtime of music was only 10,131 minutes.
10,131 minutes.
Yeah, and that's more than
so low.
57% of other listeners in the United States.
Okay.
But that is only counting music. This year, I listened to a lot more podcasts, but I don't think it gave me a time how many I listened to.
Okay.
With one song, it was Love at First Listen. I'm just reading you the prompts it gives me.
What does that mean?
I loved it. I apparently played it 15 times on one day.
What song?
It's called Make Room by Community Music.
Okay.
I apparently listened to it 15 times on March 17th. I don't even know where I was in March 17th. I might have been in Florida. I might have just heard the song. That's why I listened to it that many times.
Well, I imagine.
I played 588 songs, but these are the top 5s that played over and over and over again. My top songs were Make Room, obviously, since I played it 15 times. Come On, Lion, Canyons, and a song called Honest. Those are my top 5 songs, apparently.
Interesting. I
Yeah.
couldn't. All right. Sure.
And then your year can't be contained in a playlist, but we tried anyway. So then they tell you that they create a playlist of your top 100 songs or whatever that is. Then they added one just for fun. So I listened to 439 artists. Now,
Okay.
that's a lot of artists that I've listened to. But one
We're going to see.
ruled your world. And this is probably my all-time favorite band of ever.
All right.
Every album I've ever listened to of their music, I have not disliked any song on any of their albums.
Okay.
Mind you, a lot of artists have really bad, like they have a few songs that aren't as good as others on an album.
Right.
This band, I love every single one of their songs. And they're Bastille. I probably
Bastille?
Yeah, Bastille. I spent 247 minutes
That's it?
listening to them. I was in the top 2% of their listeners
Oh,
this
okay.
year.
I was like,
I was in the top 2% of their listeners this year.
all right. Nice.
But yeah,
Well, there you go, Bastille. Come on to our podcast. Yes, Rachel.
Yeah, I wish.
Spotify Wrapped Minutes Played includes podcasts you listen to. It's not just music.
Oh, there you
okay.
go.
It's both.
That's really low numbers.
And
then.
I couldn't stop listening to Give Me the Future. So they released a new album this year called Give Me the Future, and it's very like techno, like futuristic vibe music. I think you would actually like them.
I'll have to check it out. I know the name. I think I probably have one or two of their songs.
So Give Me the Future. It was an amazing album this year. Very futuristic. And then I like these artists so much we put them on the cover of a magazine, kind of. And so my top artists were Bastille,
All right.
Elevation Worship, apparently.
Nice.
Maverick City Music.
Okay.
For King of Country and Hillsong.
So 3 worship groups.
4. And then
4?
one, really, yeah, for King of Country.
They're considered worship?
No, they're not worship, but they're Christian music.
I was going to say, they're not worship. Whereas 3 of them were.
I spent, okay, so of that 10,000, right?
Yeah.
I spent 6,129 minutes listening to podcasts.
So wait, say it one more time.
So of the 10,000, I listened to 600. If the 10,000 counts me listening to podcasts, I've listened to 6,129 minutes of just podcasts.
Okay.
Here are the shows that you liked most.
About 100 podcasts, right?
Mind you, our podcast isn't on here because we started it later.
Yeah.
So my top 5 podcasts, which I would recommend, are Mr. Ballin Podcast, Strange, Dark, and Mysterious. It's a true crime podcast. That guy's amazing. The Roman Atwood Podcast, that's number 2. The Freddy Show with Nick and Cakes, that's number 3. And then my real nerdy side, Fallout Lorecast.
Nice.
The Fallout video game lore, that's number 4. And then the Laugh Daily Podcast is 5 with more J Stu. So those are my top 5 podcasts because I listened to more podcasts this year than I ever have before. But
Same here.
Nick and Cakes got booted down because last year they were my number 1 spot. Now they're number 3, and I feel really bad because I'm really loyal to those guys. They're really funny. So I listened to 2,819 minutes of Mr. Ballin podcast.
Wow.
I listened to every episode, but he decided to move to Amazon Music. Fix yourself, Mr. Ballin. I don't know what you're doing. This year, I had layers like an onion, baby. This is my listening personality. You ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready, baby.
This is my listening personality.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's do it.
It's loading. It's thinking.
Oh,
I'm the replayer.
the replayer?
I'm the replayer. You're a comfort listener.
Replayer.
You stick with the
Horrible.
songs you like by the artists you like from whenever and wherever. Why rock the boat? I am an FTLU. I'm familiarity, timelessness, loyalty, and uniqueness. They got very colorful with their
Apparently.
2022 rap this year. Thanks for spending 2022 with us. Thanks, Spotify. I appreciated it. Now I'm switching to Apple Music. No, I'm just kidding.
No. So I got my dad to switch from, well, I didn't get him to. He asked me about it, and he ended up switching from Apple Music to Spotify.
It's so much better.
He's like,
cleaner.
he literally, he's like, I didn't know that it could be this easy.
Yeah.
He's like, this is significantly better.
Yep.
I'm like, yeah, I
It's
know.
laid out better. Every time I look at Apple Music, we have it on that computer out there. It's jumbled. It's just such a
so
mess.
bad.
Next year, my playlist will be my 2022 rap will be a lot better.
All right, we ready for mine?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's talk about you. Let's see. I'm watching mine in live time. Welcome to your Wrapped survey. Speed it up. Come on, Spotify. This year, you ventured into the genreverse. You explored 46 different genres.
There you go, little astronaut.
Look at you, you little astronaut.
You're so little.
Okay, so number 1 is rock, screamo, pop, rap, lo-fi beats, and indie pop. Indie pop? What's indie pop? From sunrise to sunset, you kept it interesting.
Oh, yeah, here we go. What'd you start
Your
morning with?
morning started with old Hollywood sentimental determination. I don't know what that means. But
What'd you
that's
seize
me.
the day with?
You seize the day with friendly hype chill.
What'd you go to sleep with?
You embrace the night with mayhem rebellious amped. That sounds all about right. All that listening added up 27,580 minutes. That's more than 80%. No, go back. Go forward.
But to be fair, yeah,
Hold on.
so we're going to go over Rachel's after yours.
Wait. 20. That's more than 80% of the listeners in the United States. So I'm in the top 20%.
So what's so funny, that's a really low number compared to Rachel's.
Really?
Yeah. And what's funny is you
That's
actually
insane.
you edit while listening to music in the background.
No, I don't.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, I don't. I should, but I don't.
Oh, okay.
Because I know that would distract me way too much.
Continue.
All right. Hold on. Sorry, I got to skip ahead. Try to figure out where I was. With one song, it was Love at First Listen, which, okay, I know because I hit the button. It's Sleepy Head by Passion Pit. You played it 27 times with the most listens on March 26th. 27 times. Now, I love that song, and I've known it forever. And I've listened to that song way before. It's a shorter song, which is probably why 27.
So I had 11,000. You had
27,380.
okay. So real quick, Rachel, what was your hours of music you listened to?
My minutes in music, I topped out at 42,239 minutes.
Who are you in the top percent of, or is that not? Is that you just?
I was the top.
It was like 90 something.
That's insane. Because I listen to a ton of music.
That's all she listens to. She doesn't even listen to our podcast anymore.
Yes, I do.
What is it? It's loading.
I had to figure out which slide I needed to be on.
Oh.
That's more than 89% of
Yeah,
our listeners in the
wow.
US.
That was nuts. So she
That's-
was almost in the 10%.
Man, there's some people out there who are listening to a lot of music.
I was in the 0.05% of elevation worship listeners,
Yeah,
though.
ridiculous.
All right, so moving on. 27 times. That's insane that I listened to that song that many times in one day. You played 3,026 songs, but these played again and again and again. Number 1 is Sleepyhead. Overwhelmed, that's because of PJ. I Summon You by Spoon, amazing song. I hate that I can't just pause the video.
You can hold it. Hold your thumb on it.
I can roll it? What do you mean?
Hold your thumb on it.
Oh, I can hold it. Okay, I got it. Didn't realize you could do that. All right, hold on 1 second. So, number 1, Sleepyhead by Passion Pit. Overwhelmed, Ryan Mack remix. That's because of PJ, because she loves that song. I Summon You by Spoon. In Hell, I'll Be in Good Company by the Dead South.
That's a good one.
And Hayloft 2 by Mother Mother.
Okay.
Fantastic song. The 3 Haylofts, by the way, amazing songs. Hayloft 1, Hayloft 2, and then the Hayloft is, there's a third one, which they did a combination of the 2 songs together, but like dubstep remix, but they did it themselves. It's really, really great. All right, moving on. Come on. Your year can't be contained in a playlist, but we tried anyway.
Yeah, it's just your top 100 songs with 1 extra for good luck or whatever.
Okay. I'll add it to my library, whatever. You listened to 1,208 artists this year, but 1 ruled your world. Who's it going to be? I have a feeling. Oh, okay. Well, so this is an unfair one. It's Stream Beats by Harris Heller, which I'm not sponsored by because he doesn't sponsor anybody, but I'll throw out a free advertisement for him. If you are a YouTuber or a streamer, use Stream Beats by Harris Heller, the best free music for not for podcasting, but for live streaming and video.
Yeah.
And so I used to live stream back before Buckeye came in and said, "Hey, we're going to ruin your whole
Oh
life."
my gosh.
And so that's why that's my number 1. You spent 3,464 minutes together. You were in the top 2% of Stream Beats by Harris Heller listeners this year. That's insane considering, like, don't get me wrong, a lot of the songs are actually good enough. I've added them to my playlist. And any of my own personal YouTube videos, and even actually, I think one of ours, I've used some of his Stream Beats. So yeah, there you go. I thought it'd be NF, but it was not. You couldn't stop listening to Away We Go, which is the 100 Thieves hype track song. You like these artists so much, we put them on the cover of a magazine. Excuse me.
Sort of.
Top artist is Stream Beats, NF, Andy Mineo, Falling in Reverse, and Murder by Death.
Oh, and F was number 2.
So the bottom 4, 100% makes sense. NF,
Yep.
Andy Mineo, Falling in Reverse, Murder by Death.
So if you were to take out streaming, NF would be your number 1, like you suggested.
Right. And so if I took out the Stream Beats, who would be number 5 then? I'm trying to think. Who would be number 5? I don't know. Those are like the 4 I listen to. Oh, probably Me Without You would probably be number 5. Did you just spill over yourself?
Nope. You're not supposed to notice that because you're going to zoom in on it like you always do every time I mess something up.
That's right. I do it for me too.
I just want to point out that Rachel listened to a song over 60 times on one day.
What song?
I just want to point that out.
It's called Moving by Mainstream Worship.
Yeah, that song, I don't like it anymore. It got played too many times.
No kidding.
Obviously.
That's insane.
It didn't say in one day. It said just the most plays were on a certain day.
Okay.
So what was your podcast time?
Almost 7,000.
Okay, because mine is 6,486 minutes.
So ours is around the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I already know because probably only listened to about 5 podcasts total. Number 1, congratulations with Chris D'Elia.
I see Scissor Bros on there.
Yep. Number 2, Lifeline with Chris D'Elia and Matt D'Elia. Number 3, it's because I turned off my airplane mode. Number 3, Bad Friends with Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee. Number 4, Scissor Bros with Stevie Lee and Jeremiah Watkins.
Yep.
And number 5, Two Bears, One Cave with Tom Segura and Burt Kreischer.
You have news about Chris D'Elia.
I do have news about Chris D'Elia. We'll get into that because that's awesome. Hey, by the way, it's 9/11 right now. Never forget.
Never forget. I almost missed it.
I spent
That's a
1,000.
throwback to our old YouTube video.
Yeah, I spent 1,918 minutes with Chris D'Elia. Say things. How do I? I shouldn't.
goes to
I
Twitter.
I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, you gotta do it through Twitter
delete
now.
it.
You messed
Okay,
up.
no, we're good. I'm back.
Gosh darn it. Oh my.
Shut up, phone.
You know there's a silent mode?
This year you had layers like an onion, but you listened to music unlike any other. Time to meet your listening personality.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. The Adventurer. You're a seeker of sound. You venture out into the unknown, searching for fresher artists, deeper cuts, newer tracks, especially gems yet to be found. That's 100% true because I do listen to a lot of artists in VU. Exploration, newness, variety, uniqueness. Okay. That's me. I'd say it's pretty solid because there are a ton of artists I listen to that have like less than 10,000 monthly listeners.
So I think that was the last slide.
Thanks for, yep.
Yep, that's the last slide. So yeah, I figured you would have listened to more, and I figured yours is probably a little more relatable than mine.
Hey.
I was disappointed this year, but
Real quick, guys, do the same thing with your Spotify if you're a Spotify listener, and leave a comment with your top 5s and your personality.
at the end it gives you a little screenshot of just the important information.
Oh,
so make sure
let me do that.
Make sure you have that.
Do you have yours?
Yeah,
I'll put, there's so many.
I'm on my phone. It's just different colors. But yeah, I just thought it was fun. End of the year, Spotify is probably one of the most popular music streaming things.
The second most, I believe.
What's the first
behind
now?
Apple.
Yeah, screw. See, here's the thing. I like Apple, but I don't like their music.
So
iTunes was a hot trash, and Apple Music got worse.
Here's why I'll tell you that. What was it? 56% of phones are Apple, and to have a Apple phone or an Apple product, you have to have iTunes, thus counting you as a listener. 100%.
You don't.
Yes, you do.
I don't.
For me to make this podcast,
I realize, but
for
I've
me
never-
to make this podcast, I had to create an Apple iTunes account.
I do not have to have iTunes. All I have to do is my Apple ID, and all my
Right,
stuff
but
is done
I
through Apple
believe
ID.
that counts you as a user of Apple
probably.
Music.
But
Pay
that's
for
just your
Apple
ID.
Music every month.
Yeah.
No, there's a free version, isn't there?
No, I have to pay $10 every month.
No,
You use Apple
shouldn't.
Music?
Yeah, you shouldn't. You should cut
Use
that.
Spotify.
It's so bad.
Dan can share his family plan with you.
Yeah,
What?
I keep telling her that. I think she pays for Spotify too.
What?
Don't?
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Oh my gosh.
Don't.
My
I
bad.
have a duo plan on Spotify. It's like $13.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
I mean,
And
Spotify.
it's 16 to add 4 more people.
So Rachel and I,
Well, add me.
Rachel and I have had Spotify for years.
I've had it for about 2.
Like, and my whole thing is like I'd be afraid to switch because I got everything how I like it.
I've used every single platform, and Spotify has the most amount of music that other platforms don't.
Yeah.
So like for instance,
Unless you're my favorite podcast and you go to Apple Music or Amazon Music.
so like
Whatever.
even I was trying to find some songs on her Apple Music account, and they just weren't there,
Yeah.
and it made me mad.
Well, I remember when Taylor Swift had this whole thing of people shouldn't get my music for free. They should pay for it. And she left Spotify, and she lost so much money.
Yeah, she became
And then
an
she
Apple
came
Music
back
exclusive.
And then she came back to Spotify.
Oh, did she?
Oh yeah, she's
It
back with
wasn't
Spotify.
an Apple Music exclusive. It was something weird. It was
She-
like
she
a weird
genuinely-
one-off company that.
Oh, I thought it was
Yeah.
music
purely
person
Apple.
made.
No, nope. And so she's back on Spotify now. She's been for years, but
Interesting.
I think when her newest album released is when she came back on Spotify. But yeah. So another topic I want to talk about we don't have time for, but we can get to it next week.
What?
Just talk about how we met. We haven't done that ever. And we're
Okay.
a lot of episodes in.
Yeah, we can do that next week.
We had to do that next week.
We should do. In fact, next week we should do a. We should talk about how all of us have met each other.
Yeah, we can. Put down in the comments if you think Dan just monopolizes this podcast and doesn't let me speak on any of my topics.
Yeah, this was all your topic.
I'm kidding. No, the Spotify was.
Spotify
You went on the
and
whole
a few
haunted
other things.
You want a whole haunted thing? No, I'm just. Okay, listen. Here's the ordeal. The last 2 podcasts, we have busted your chops, man. Like
You have.
we went on a roast of Dan the last 2 podcasts.
I know.
I went gentle except for that one jab. So I'm being nice today. There's a lot of things that irritate me that you do, but like this time we're just leaving it simple. I gave that one little jab to you, and I will leave it alone.
Jealous about where we're going in February.
Oh yeah. I don't know if he's even a fan of him. So, but for my Christmas gift that I got early, kind of. We are going to Chicago.
You could have just been given it in Christmas.
That's true. This is
If it's not
technically
till
coming.
February.
You're right. For my Christmas gift that I got, since this is coming out post Christmas.
No. I'm talking about literally. She could have just given it to you for Christmas because it's not until February.
Yeah. Anyways, we're going to Chicago to see Chris D'Elia live. Obviously,
I don't know who that is, so I'm proud of you. I'm glad that that means a lot
my
to
favorite
you.
comedian.
I'm really glad that means a lot to you.
Favorite comedian. He was like one of the world's biggest comedians. Then he got canceled for some BS he didn't do. And then
And yet Dave Chappelle's still going strong.
I love Dave Chappelle too. He's in my.
do too.
I've actually thought about bringing that up as a topic. Is what's your top 3 favorite comedians, top 5s?
A story for a different day. My dad
Yeah.
was his personal baker.
I know that'd be. We should save that for the next podcast.
But that's just a little snippet. Nicolas Cage, please come on our next podcast.
That's true.
Not our next one. Maybe a couple later. But
Yeah.
I mean, if you can make it to the next one, please do. We would love to talk about your career and just boast about you all the time.
Real quick, so
It makes me sad.
Nicolas Cage and Pauly Shore are neighbors in Vegas.
What?
Like, I just want to go move in.
Like
I want to be the
Pauly
neighbor
Shore of Jersey Shore? I'm kidding. It was a joke.
too. Okay,
Remember
I was
Pauly?
going to be
Pauly
very
from Jersey
upset.
Shore? You know Pauly?
I do.
LED, of course.
I was going to be very upset with you.
I'm joking.
Okay. All right.
Listen, I
Anyways,
would cry if Nick Cage. Like, that would be amazing.
I would cry if Pauly Shore walked in the room.
I mean, listen, we only have 13 subscribers.
cry.
We're really shooting for the moon here, but
we are really shooting for the moon, but you know what?
oh, I was going to ask you, do we have any listeners on Apple? Have you checked Apple?
Apple
Music?
is the worst. Okay.
I didn't need to know that. I just need to know. We already have established that Apple Music's
let me explain
trash.
why I'm saying that in response to what you're saying. They keep saying you don't have enough listeners for us to give you analytics yet.
What?
So I don't
How
know
does
if that
work.
I don't know how many equals analytics. I don't know if 1 equals analytics, but why can't you just say 0?
Does Spotify give you?
Yeah,
your analytics
Spotify
right
tells
away?
me everything.
Yeah, that's the.
But no, Apple's like, sorry, you need to have more listeners for us to put in the hard work of having a computer quickly give you the information you're looking for.
You're not cool enough yet.
All I have to say is that I have
Figure it out.
I have social media accounts.
Yeah.
I actually went through just created Twitter today.
Ew.
I just did it because I like to keep up on video game news, and Twitter's like one of the best places for that.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
I literally only follow game companies, and that's it. Like, that's all I follow. It is just literally to keep up on game news. But Rachel on her social media promotes our podcast. Like, she promoted it when our first episode. She promoted it on episode
Rachel.
6. She's like, "There's more episodes if you want to try to give it a listen." So you don't promote it.
No, I told you.
And as we've stated before, when people find out about it, you always say, "Tyler, you explain it," and then walk away.
I don't walk away. All
boy,
right? I do.
boy.
Listen, I have a hard time talking about my own personal things like that. I do. It feels braggadocious, and I hate feeling like that guy. I know it's not. I know it's a
Do
stupid.
you not boast about your child?
Oh, I love my child.
Do you boast about your child?
I try not to. I try not to be that parent who's like, my child's so smart, but
That's
she
not
is.
what I
You
meant.
say that all the time. But
To you, because you know it's true already. But I don't go up to strangers and talk about my child. Do I?
no.
I don't go up to strangers to talk about anything. So when I do have to talk to a stranger, guess what I'm not going to do is seem like a braggadocious douche.
Here's the difference. When somebody asks what your podcast is about, that's not boasting. That's just answering their question.
I know, but you have to understand. That means I had to have already told them I have a podcast for them to ask me what it's about. Nobody just goes up to a stranger and is like, what's your podcast about?
Okay, first of all,
Although I
every
know people have
time,
one
every
you're
time
about.
somebody has ever asked us about the podcast, it's because they overheard it. They eavesdropped on our conversation.
true. I know. I need to be better about it. All right, I do.
Like my mom the other day, I made a comment about it last podcast. My mom, she goes, I was at her house, I was watching her many children that she has, which I guess are my siblings. That was really weird context to put in there.
Yeah, and you also made your mom sound
Single?
so bad. Yeah, single with many children.
I know. My mom and dad are not single, but they're still together. They have adopted children.
I was
That's
over at my
an
mom's
explainable-
house watching the many children that she has all by her lonesome.
Yeah,
and they're all
But-
different colors.
So, Dad, I was watching
They are.
the podcast early, and no, it would have been. Yeah, it was early.
Yeah.
And
You were.
she goes through. Well, it was two podcast episodes ago. She goes through and she pulls it over. She goes. She heard the mom part, and it was when you were talking about kissing your mother, and then she looked at me and she's like, "Why is he wearing sunglasses?"
Oh
And
my
was like-
gosh,
I
I
was
know.
I was like, I don't know. He just put them on. I didn't have a say.
You know what?
And then she goes to her hair appointment. And she sends me a text. It says, "What's the name of your podcast?" I literally ignored it until very last minute because I was like, I don't want her to talk about it with her hairstylist.
You should have. That a hairstylist goes and talks to everybody about everything, so she would have been like, check out this.
Yeah,
Anne
but here's the
already
problem.
knows. Anne follows me.
Who?
Anne.
Who's Ann?
Oh, your
Anne's the lady
hairstylist.
who does me,
Oh, okay, well-
Heather and Ange's hair.
And so
Tell her to tell everybody.
And so, but it was just really funny. It's like, my mom's just like, why does he wear the sunglasses? And everybody that watches, like my uncle asked me the other day, why is Dan wearing sunglasses? I'm like, you guys act like I'm his wardrobe guy. I don't control what he wears. Half the time his midriff
did
is
not.
showing.
Before you aired the episode, I said,
Oh.
"Baby, why are you wearing sunglasses?"
Yeah, okay, so
But
you know
he
what?
can't just Photoshop the glasses out.
Yeah, that's
He
not
wouldn't
some.
have that episode.
Could.
It was too good of an episode.
Can we just, yeah, are you kidding me?
That was the hot soup
That was
episode.
the hot soup episode.
All right, so
Listen, we only have ever had one episode that is lost in the universe that will never be shown.
That's true.
Only one. Ow! I just sandpapered my lips on the pop filter.
Okay, I need to address the public here. All right, public, world.
You look like a ghost.
Thanks. Friends, family, people that I know, people who I don't know, who all make the same comment that I'm so sick of hearing. I am so sorry that I wore sunglasses in one of the episodes. I was just trying something. That was the third episode in the day we recorded. We had recorded for 3 hours at that point, and I said, you know what? I'm going to just try it out. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I had a backwards hat on.
Okay, but the backward hat is not as bad as just words. You looked real douchey with the sunglasses and the backwards hat.
You looked like you were trying to hide something.
I'm sorry.
He had no eyebrows that day.
Please forgive me. Cancel culture of the world who hate people who wear sunglasses indoors in a completely black room. I'm sorry. Okay? Can we drop it? Everybody who has ever talked to me who's seen that episode, can we drop it now? I feel bad, all right? I've been punished. I have paid my dues for my crimes. I'm sorry. Sorry for yelling at you about it.
Your table just keeps tipping more and
I'm
more.
holding it, okay? Listen, I'll probably do it again. That's it.
Listen, the next time you decide to wear I'm just going to keep a bag of sunglasses down here. Like clown sunglasses. I'm going to do the slotted sunglass. Like the craziest of glasses. I'm going to have the little glasses that have the little boingly eyes out of them. So every time you decide to wear sunglasses, I put one of those stupid glasses on. You will hate watching when you edit and feel like you have to scrap the episode because of how stupid I look.
I'll keep it. You're the one who looks stupid, not me.
But I'm only doing
that
it.
will make me look better. At that point, they'll be like, okay, I mean, that guy's wearing sunglasses, but
problem
the other
is-
guy's wearing
is-
pointy eye
Because I won't
sunglasses.
feel stupid. You're the one that's so like OCD
You know,
about that
I
kind of
am
stuff.
very OCD.
You're upset because I'm wearing socks and sandals, and you kept telling me keep my feet down. I've had them in the shot this entire episode.
I just suggested that you
See? Look
possibly
at them.
just take the sandal off and just be socked up.
Why? But I'm real.
You're not German, Tyler. You shouldn't be wearing socks
I'm,
with your
I'm-
sandals.
I'm real suburban dad,
Go mow the lawn.
and I'm not even a father.
Go mow the lawn.
In my socks and sandals? No, my socks will turn green. You don't mow the lawn in socks and sandals, Dan. You would know this if you mowed your lawn.
Go grill a steak.
That I can do. I killed my wife. She was my girlfriend at the time. I killed my wife. I mean, I almost killed her with very undercooked hamburgers because the grill I was using sucked. Anyway, that's a story for another day. Listen, we're gonna have to wrap this up soon because I gotta take a deuce
That's good.
really bad.
So, guys, make sure you leave some comments down below. Tell us what your Spotify wrap up says. Tell us any of your favorite horror movies, especially horror movies. We like scary movies. Give us suggestions of what to watch. Leave some comments below. Give us a like.
Give us a follow.
Yeah. Follow / subscribe /
Listen,
whatever.
stop looking
it's
at me
called.
for this part. You
No, I try not to. I try not to monopolize it, Tyler. I try to share the conversation
Listen,
of
every time you
commenting.
every time you pause, that's my go-to to stay dangerous.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't. You should know
Well,
what
stop
needs to be.
pausing.
You should know what needs to be said and then say it.
Listen,
So
give me a
I
script
said.
next
I
time.
said commenting.
Listen, we
and
gotta hurry this
leaving-
up.
I
Speed it
said.
along.
I said commenting and leaving a like. You were supposed to say subscribing and sharing.
Stay dangerous, folks.
Stay toasty, my friends.
Bye.